We are now one leg of the Triple Crown shy of seeing yet another Triple Crown winner, and yet another Triple Crown winner from Bob Baffert, who's American Pharoah, or as you called him, Chris Brockman,
American Pharoah.
Back in the day. That was the last Triple Crown winner. Justify is the Belmont Stakes win shy away from making it back-to-back in that regard for Bob Baffert, who's here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Bob?
Thanks for having me. And you want to see a real great reality show, just better tune in to the Belmont in 3 weeks.
I like it. So walk me through what that reality show is going to look like, Bob. You want to preview it for me?
Well, we're almost there. We're 2/3 of the way, which is probably the toughest part. And the horse, his Kentucky Derby was just awesome. Came back, had to work for it. He sort of had to will himself in there. He got a lot of pressure early from the champion horse, and it was a good like little match race going on, but he held them all off in the mud again. So came out of the race, looks fantastic. So so far I like what I see, but it's still going to be a tough race. He's going to have to give us another big run, but he's just an incredible horse, an incredible animal, just like American Pharoah, just so talented. So, I think it's, we're feeling, we're feeling good about it, but it's still, we still have 3 weeks to go and a lot can happen. But I think it's a race that, everybody should tune in, because I can't believe we just went through it in 2015 and after 37 years, and here I get a chance. This is my 5th time I get to go through this. So I'm pretty blessed to even have horses like this, but to go through it again is pretty exciting.
Before we turn the page, Bob, to the Belmont, I still want to rest on the Preakness a little bit there. It's funny what you said, what you see in the horse. I couldn't see the horse, just sitting in where I was. Is that the foggiest race you've ever been a part of, Bob?
Yeah, you know what? It was the weather. Unfortunately, it was a great event, but it was the weather. It rained every day for 5 days, and but all of a sudden it quit raining, and all of a sudden the fog came in, and and the track was starting to dry out, so it was getting a little sticky, and I was worried about that because it gets a little bit tiring. But it was weird. You could barely see the break, and I was watching on the monitor just like everybody else. And all of a sudden, they went to the first turn. They sort of disappeared a little bit. And then we saw them in the backside. And the far turn, they disappeared. So there was about 15 seconds where I was just watching, and I'm just saying to everybody around me, well, I hope he's on the lead when he comes out of the fog. And sure enough, there he was. He was on the lead. Well, that's good, So it was incredible. The classics are they're incredible. They're tough races, and this year there's some really top 3-year-olds. It's a tough bunch. So it's like I compare it like it's the SEC every race, man. It's tough, and but we're really we're enjoying the ride, and because you never know when we may never be back, but we just have an incredible horse, and so we're just justifying. He's a most gorgeous looking animal. So we're just keeping our fingers crossed and hoping everything goes well.
Bob Baffert, Hall of Fame trainer here on the Rich Eisen Show. Tell me about the first day you laid eyes on Justified, Bob.
Well, when they sent him to me, and I got him late. I got him in late November, and so he didn't run as a 2-year-old. So there was it was called the Apollo Curse. There had never been a Derby winner that has won the Derby since 1882. So he was dealing with that. So he broke that curse. So this horse is really, he's changed. He's making history for himself and for me. And so he is just the most beautiful animal. And I knew the first time we worked, and we knew he was really special, but I didn't get a race into him until January. And now he's run 5 races every 3 weeks, which is just unheard of. Horses just don't, it's hard to keep bringing it. It's just like these teams playing these top teams every week. And this one was close. It was close. It was little closer, for comfort, because usually he wins his races pretty handily, and so, but he had to really work for it. But it was a tough race. He'd never been battle tested, and he was this weekend. So hopefully we're, he looks great and he came out of it well. So so I'm just saying that's if you want to go to the Belmont, this, I would say it's worth going to watch this horse run.
Okay, so when just a couple more questions for you here, Bob. What does a special horse look like? What do you see in a horse, and you could say that's special? Generally,
it's their mechanics, the way they move. Like any great athlete, they move. They have this fluid way of moving. He's a big, strong horse. He's a little bit bigger than American Pharoah, but American Pharoah was the same way. They just effortless. They move effortlessly, and when horses come to them, they can just get away from them. They can just open up on them. It's just like, those special horses, just like, when you see Usain Bolt, you say you don't see one every year. They come around, every 5, 8, 10 years, something like special like that. Like the old, like Seattle Slew, Secretariats are just rare. It's just a genetic, something really worked well. And so, and that's what they are. They're just superior animals.
And what's your confidence level in Justify going into the Belmont compared to how you felt about American Pharoah going into the Belmont a couple years ago, Bob?
Well, American Pharoah, I felt really good about him, but you don't, until the last week coming up to it, then But coming out of the Preakness last year, I felt really, really good about it. I feel good about it with this horse because he's that kind of horse. So you still have to have racing luck, though. Things can happen. They can break poorly or something. I remember War Emblem, he stumbled badly at the start. So I don't get ahead of myself. But, this horse, he's definitely the best horse of this group, but he still needs to, can't throw any interceptions.
Those things can happen. And the question is of Audible is a name we'll definitely be hearing quite a bit about over the next couple of weeks because it's owned by the same owner that owns Justify, and the idea that why would you potentially bust up your own Triple Crown hopes with your own friendly fire in that regard? What's your philosophy here on Audible racing, Bob?
They ran another horse, Quip. He was same ownership in the Preakness. They ran him in there. So, you know what? We don't worry about that. It's not supposed to be easy. It's not, and so they have different trainers, and they're trying to win also. So, I'm like, that's what makes the Triple Crown so unique. You're going to catch fresh horses, but hey, if you're great, that's what makes it. So when you do win it, it makes it special because there's a lot of obstacles to get there, and so that's just part of the game, and so I can't worry about stuff like that. I just worry about my horse.
What do you think the odds are of Audible running right now are?
I have no idea. I don't really talk about Audible. They're, that the plan was to run them, so I just don't know.
Okay. All right, Bob. And the horse Justify, as you said, it looks great. It came through the horse great. You had an interesting line about gravel when you after the Preakness that there was no gravel around, so everything's good, right, with Justify?
Yeah, he was. A lot of times when you run these horses on a wet, sealed track, they're hard. They can come up. It's just like I compared it to a woman wearing her high heels, and you go to a function, you have a little blister. It takes a couple of days, and it's gone. And sort of the same thing. You just get he had a little spot there. He bruised his heel because wet tracks they can be abrasive because they're running sand. It's wet sand, so they're all the way around there. But no, that thing was within 48 hours. It was gone. So it was a non-factor.
What's the horse's reward for winning, Bob?
He gets a lot of love and oats.
Love and oats.
They just want to eat. They want to eat, and they want to be massaged and rubbed down, but they want to eat, and we pamper them. They get a lot of rub downs.
And last one for you, Bob. This is maybe off the board, if you will, far afield, but we hear about how Justify's great in the wet weather and the slop. Your hair, you didn't have a bad hair day at all, Bob. Are you the same? Because I'm this is the sort of stuff I notice being a follically challenged guy. I mean, you looked like you had a great hair day that day, Bob.
I don't know. I've seen a little. I saw a little yellow tint in it. I got to hit the purple shampoo a little harder. I think it's
Okay.
But it's
that's
my hair is my it's. I get it from my mother. My mother gave me this white hair, and it's like my. A lot of people, they don't know who I am, but I'll be going somewhere and through an airport, and they'll go, "Aren't you that horse guy?" That's me.
It's your brand.
So
it's your brand.
My brand. My hair is my brand. So,
yeah. So it's all in the breeding. Is basically what you're saying.
It's all in the breeding. It comes from my mother. She was completely white when she was 30, and I was 2. So I've got it. So
yeah, you're like the Steve
I'm just
Martin.
glad I still have it.
Yeah. Hey, you're telling me, Bob. Congratulate you. Still have it. That's for damn sure, man. And congrats on the first 2 legs. And hopefully we'll chat after the Belmont too.
Thanks for having me.
Always. That's Bob Baffert.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.